Hi guys, and welcome to a Hector lecture guide to the different tower strats in P4S Part 1. This is going to break down both the standard strats that you may have seen referred to as Xeno or Ilya or Happy strat, as well as the Uptime North strat, and then finally a strat that my static has tried recently that I would now consider to be my favorite of the three strats. So let's break these down. First, the mechanic in general is quite simple. The boss casts Blown Coils. When it finishes, you get 4 towers. There's a symbol on it that says who can't take it, and this buckles down to essentially either all DPS can take the towers or all tank healers can take the towers. Then the boss casts Aversive Calamus and tethers 4 random players, and you need to get those 4 tethers onto the players who aren't taking towers. Essentially, for your 8 players, 4 of them are in towers, the other 4 need tethers, and you need to be spread out enough when this cast finishes that you don't kill each other from the AoEs. Let's go through the 3 strats. First, the standard strat. This one you might have seen called Ilya strat or Xeno strat or Happy strat, depending on which guide your party vendor person watched. But all 3 of them essentially do the same thing. Tower assignments are just a tank and healer with a DPS to each corner. Blown Coils casts, and when it finishes, here you can see that this is telling us tanks and healers can't take towers, so DPS take towers. The DPS take their towers, and the tanks and healers immediately go to middle. So when the tethers appear, 2 of them are already on the tank healers, 2 of them are on the DPS, and now the tank healers are just kind of wiggle about. You spin around, you move towards wherever you see those last couple tethers to try to pick them up. This can be kind of finicky. The tethers tend to bounce around a lot. It's very often that the tethers will bounce just to whichever player doesn't have a tether, and it can make it a little bit tricky to pick up that final tether, but if it works right, you should get the tethers with enough time to get out to pre-assigned positions. And what you're seeing here at the end are uptime positions for this. This is where the tether players just go directly between the towers, and whoever's in the tower just hugs the back corner. To show you that AoE again, you can see there's plenty of room in the back corner of the tower. If you position your waymarks where I have them, those are safe spots in the towers. The Uptime North strat has the boss pre-pulled north before the mechanic begins, and you have to have different tower assignments. You have to have your tanks and melees assigned to the north towers, and your healers and ranged assigned to the south towers. For this, when the boss casts Blown Coils and the towers appear, if you see your symbol, that means head towards the boss. Everybody else stays in the towers. Now, this does make picking up the tethers a little bit easier because they're all coming from one direction, so you don't have to wiggle as much, but there is still an element of wiggling to try to pick up the tethers, and then getting to your final positions, which has the tanks near the boss and the healers out. This works. It's referred to as Uptime strat, though note that all of the strats should lead to full melee uptime. Really, the advantage to this one is that it makes it a little bit easier to grab tethers, which is where my final strat comes in. This was designed by a member of my static, and the idea behind what we're calling lazy tether strat is to flip the script. The towers, in my opinion, are the easy part. The tethers are the bit that can be a little bit annoying, and so the goal is to make tether pickup as easy as possible and have the people in towers do a little bit more movement. First, tower assignments, it does not matter. You just need a tank healer with a DPS, so you don't need uptime style tower assignments. But the important thing is, as Blown Coils cast, you have the whole party stack max melee north. As the cast bar finishes and the towers appear, what you're going to do is, if you see your symbol, move in. Now, wait here for a second. Don't immediately go to your towers. All you do is wait 1 second for tethers to appear onto the players. And as long as you're in this positioning here, the tethers should immediately snap on to who you want the tethers to have. Now that the tethers are here, all that needs to happen, the DPS are going to move to their towers while staying out of the boss's hitbox. Melees can still stay max melee, so they can keep full uptime, but they don't go in the hitbox. Tanks and healers, the tethers, are going to move to their positions, but staying in the hitbox. It looks a little something like this. Overall, there's really minimal movement. As a healer or caster, you're going to love this because you're basically no movement regardless of your role, and you can always have the players that need the least movement be assigned to those north towers if you want to. The cast bar is going to finish, and you go to the same uptime positions as you would for the end. And that's it. That's the entirety of this mechanic. I personally think that this is the simplest way to deal with this, but let me know in the comments if you think that there's a better way of dealing with this or if you prefer one of the other strats. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching. Take care.